Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery. Yeah, it all over again.
Hello, everyone. So, before we do our little news thing, I don't normally do this, but I got some cute stuff in the mail and I want to show it to you. So, this is like an unboxing or unbagging, whatever. I don't normally get much of anything, but I figured these were super cute, so I kind of wanted to show it. How is everybody? I hope y'all are doing all right. So, this is a shirt I have been wanting for a while. You can blame TikTok for that. I love the fact the raccoon is armed. Like, I think that's awesome. Strawberry jams, my Glock don't. Fucking love that. Hello, Sashi. So yeah, had to get that. Put it back in the little bag. And I think this other package is a flag I ordered. I think. You might be like, well, what kind of flag did she order? I want to have a flag for any event that I might be interested in. So, all right. I think, is this it? It is it. Okay. Another bag. It's like a Russian dolls of bags. Fuck. Oh. Okay. All right. I don't know how big this is. I remember it sounded pretty large. Okay. I gotta do a lot of unfolding. Okay. All right. Ready? I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. You never know when you're going to go to an event where you need a flag like this to wave. So I hope that's, yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, this shirt and this is like the perfect outfit for, like, you know, rabble rousing. Oh. I might have to, actually, I don't know if I'm going to put that back in the bag. I'm going to have to go drape this over something. I'll be right back. I'll put this in my Palestinian flag. Anywho, so I hope you found those cute. All right. Let's see. All right. Present screen. Entire screen. All right. So let me get rid of this little thing. I hate that thing. I don't know why it bugs me, but it's like having a tag on a shirt. It just drives me nuts. Anywho, let's get in it. Let's go back up. Anyway, so in case you hadn't heard, I think we did talk about this, that the Attorney General over in Israel, they've been trying to find a way to get rid of her. Netanyahu wants her gone. Well, it sounds like maybe she decided to start playing ball with Netanyahu and to keep her job. I hate people like that. And so it says, Attorney General decides not to open criminal probe into senior officials for incitement against Gazans. Maybe that was one of the reasons they were trying to get rid of her. I think there was a few. Attorney General Gali Myra. I'll say Myra. I'll just say Myra because that looks like it. Decides not to open a criminal investigation into whether comments by senior Israeli officials in the wake of October 7th massacres and atrocities could be considered incitement to violence or even genocide against Palestinian Gazans. Yeah, it figures, yeah. Because there had been talk about Netanyahu wouldn't get rid of her. Now I see why. The announcement of the Attorney General's decision is made in her office's response to a High Court petition filed by the Israeli Democracy Guard organization in August, which requested that her office open a criminal investigation into some of the highly inflammatory comments made by cabinet ministers, MKs, and ostensibly endorsing indiscriminate attacks on Gaza. Well, it's a shame that was even. It's kind of sad that she's not even going to bother doing that. Sorry, gotta get comfortable. Among the comments highlighted by the petition are heritage ministers. Jesus. Elias remarked in November of 2023 that the war in Gaza could be ended by dropping an atomic bomb on the territory. Yeah, I remember that. I didn't remember who had said that, but apparently it's him. But I remember him being on TV and said that that was an option. And people flipped the fuck out. Rightly so, because that's an insane idea to do. And the Likud party, MK, how the hell am I supposed to read this? Atbaran? I guess we go Atbarans, called to wipe Gaza off the face of the earth. On January 9th, 3 days before the first hearing for South Africa's suit in the International Court of Justice accusing Israel of genocide, the Attorney General said that the law enforcement agencies had opened examinations into several of the problematic comments made by Israeli officials. Well, it sounds like she was wanting to keep her job and decided to back down, I guess. Unless she's got something better planned, I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed in her folding like a cheap lawn chair. It's kind of sad. And I don't know if you guys ever watch, I think it's like CNN or some fucking shit. But it's Morning Joe hosts agreed to Trump meeting over fears of Joe Scarborough's intern death probe. So let me refresh this. So this came out 4 days ago, so I've been meaning to get to this. I just hadn't. So I don't know if y'all ever watch it, but I see clips of them on TikTok. And they're always talking so much mad shit. And recently, right after Trump won the election, they decided they're going to interview him. And they sound like they were humbling themselves hard. Like, it was kind of weird. And they were like, yeah, we spent so many years basically talking shit about him, but we never actually went to the trouble of talking to him. Which I feel like if you're going to be a reporter in this position, you should, in fact, talk with the people you're going to talk shit about. You know what I mean? Seems like it'd be a manlier thing to do. But anyway, apparently he had an intern die. And she looks kind of nuts. I wouldn't be surprised if she's the one that actually killed the girl. I'm just saying. Like, she looks like she's the brains of this, and he's like this cuck that just does whatever she tells him to do. Anyway, the host of MSNBC's Morning Joe Scarborough, and Mika, fuck that, I'm not even going to try to do that, allegedly met with President-elect Donald Trump over fears that the then Attorney General nominee Matt Gaetz would investigate the death of an intern in Scarborough's office during his time as a Florida Republican congressman. I didn't know he had been one. I didn't realize that. That's so nuts. Anyway, so what's her name? Mika. Okay. On Monday, Mika, for those asking why we go to speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess, I would ask back, why wouldn't we? I don't know. You never did before. Joe and I realize it's time to do something, and that starts not only talking about Donald Trump, but talking with him. Oh, yeah, they sort of, you could tell they were bootlicking hard. It was such a weird thing to see. Their mostly liberal audience dropped by 17% in the hour after they made the revelation about Trump meeting. And their ratings were down 38% the following day compared to the average year. Ooh. That's funny. Scarborough and Mika have reportedly told their friends since the election day that they're concerned about retribution from Trump over their consistent criticism of the president-elect since they last met him 7 years ago. Those worries grew when Trump nominated former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General. Gaetz announced on Thursday that he would be stepping down as nominee. I think it's super wild. I'm still stuck on the intern part. Like, I wanted to get right to that. Oh, I think they are, actually. Morning Joe host told friends and allies before the departure that they were concerned about Trump and Gatz would bring back a baseless conspiracy theory regarding the death of a 28-year-old intern, Lori Kozostis, who died from complications of a heart condition in 2001. The concerns were linked to worries that Gatz and Trump would use the conspiracy to put legal pressure on Scarborough. Well, it makes you wonder, like, because if she just died of heart complications and nothing else, then what legal pressures could they put on him? You know what I mean? I mean, someone dies of natural causes. There's not much you can really do about that. But they started kissing Trump's ass and started like shaping up because they were afraid they were going to be investigated for this. That's super fucking weird to me, because if someone died like of natural causes, why would you think somebody was going to do something to you for that? So I feel like there's more to it, obviously. Like, that's just odd. I've been around people who've died of natural causes, and I didn't think I was going to be investigated for it because I didn't fucking do it, you know? So, like, I don't know why they're suddenly kissing ass. That seems strange as shit. And conspiracy theories do not constitute, like, legal, like, ramifications necessarily. So, it seems kind of weird they're worried about legal pressure. You can really only do that, I thought, if you actually had some basis to it. So, So I think these two probably actually had something to do with it. Maybe he was banging the intern and maybe she did something to get rid of her. Who knows? I don't know if they were together at that time, but whatever. In 2022, former White House communication director and current The View host Alyssa Griffin testified before the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th riot, saying that she once encountered Gatz outside the Oval Office, adding that Gatz was carrying a folder with conspiracy theories about Scarborough murdering his intern. But why would she know what's inside that? Whatever. Gatz presented the contents to Trump, who subsequently posted about it on Twitter. That's a weird thing to put on there. But think about this, though. So if they took these, and they got little quotes, conspiracy theories about him killing this guy, killing this intern, and Trump posted about it on Twitter, and I didn't see what the tweet said. Does it show? No. Then, I don't know. I mean, couldn't these two have easily sued Trump for defamation or libel if there weren't truth to it? A source told Puck that the hosts were petrified of retribution and concerned that Gatz, who represented the same Florida congressional district as Scarborough, would probe the death of the intern. What would be the problem with probing if there's nothing wrong? The source said that the fears had nothing to do with the ratings or Comcast. Okay. A separate source told Puck that Scarborough and Mika thought that by meeting Trump, they could lessen his desire for revenge. Damn! Makes me think of Benny from The Mummy, about being on the right side of the devil instead of in his path. Boy, oh boy. Many things were discussed, and I very much appreciated the fact that they wanted to have open communications, he said. I'm assuming Trump said this. The meeting ended in a very positive manner, and we agreed to speak in the future, Trump added. The president-elect went on to say that he expected that other meetings would occur with others in the press, even those who have been extremely hostile. Woo! The former president said that he has an obligation to the American public and to the country itself to be open and available to the press. If not treated fairly, however, that will end. The media is very important for the long-term success of the United States of America. I agree, because if someone's being fucking shitty at me, why would I want to be interviewed by them? So they can, try to ambush me and fucking do something stupid and twist things? Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with them either, I'll be honest. The Independent is the most free-thinking news brand, providing global news, commentary, and analysis for independently minded We have grown a huge global readership of independently minded individuals who value our trusted voices and commented to positive change. Our mission, making change happen, has never been as important as it is today. Yeah, the fact that they have changed their tune so fucking fast, because even when he was president the first time, they still talked mad shit. So the fact that they're acting kind of scared now, like that's kind of wild. Like that, I feel like that says a lot. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. Just keep an eye on the chat. Next article. The Navy. Let me refresh this so we can see how old this is. 3 days ago. Navy removes CO of Airborne Command and Control Squadron 115. The Navy ousted the commanding officer of the Airborne Command and Control Squadron of 115 on Friday, making him the third commanding officer the service has fired in November. I'm going to guess that stands for commandeer. Maybe. I don't know for sure. But, save here? No, it doesn't. All right. Well, Charles Dial was removed from his leadership role due to the loss of confidence in his ability to command. Dial will be temporarily reassigned to Airborne Command and Control Logistics Wing based in Point Mugu, California, while Randall Fields, the forming commanding officer for the Airborne Command and Control Squadron 116, will temporarily take over leadership of the 115. Earlier this month, the Navy has removed the commanding officers of the Navy Leadership and Ethics Command in San Diego, Captain Lester Brown Jr., and the Naval Information Warfare Training San Diego Command. I think it's Commander. Yeah, Commander Cyan McFarland. Dial became the commanding officer of the squadron, also based out of Point Mugu in May. Wait, he had just become commanding officer in May? And he's already fired? Or removed? As a naval flight officer flying the E-2 Hawkeye, he previously attended the Navy fighter weapons school known as Top Gun. Oh shit, that's actually a thing. He also conducted deployments in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation New Dawn and Operation Tomodachi. So, I'm not an expert in military, but it seems kind of weird that this guy took the job in May and gets fired in November. And apparently a few others being removed from office. Commanding officers. I want to hear more about that. I hope they end up telling us more about that, because that seems like an unusually high number of people being removed. I feel like that is super suspicious. Maybe they're against the shit going on in like Ukraine and Israel or something. I don't know. Because they're not going to want people who won't obey orders, you know. But I thought I'd share that because it just seemed a little odd. So Trump has apparently elected somebody to head the CDC, and it's anti-abortion doctor known for his role in Terry Schiavo case, tapped to head CDC. All right, so those of you who are under 43 years old, Terry Schiavo was this chick in the 90s who had some kind of brain damage. And so, and we'd see clips of her stuff on TV. And so basically they, I guess they euthanized her, but they basically starved her to death and she died of thirst. They just they just shut off her feeding tube and just left her to die, which I think is a wild way of euthanizing somebody. Wouldn't it be more merciful just give them a drug overdose? That'd be fucking shit. But, yeah. So I guess this was the doctor that might have been involved with that. So, but I'll get to this. All right. So Trump made another medical appointment on Friday evening with the selection of former Representative Dave Weldon to head up the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. In addition to being a medical doctor for 40 years and an Army veteran, Dave has also been a respected conservative leader on fiscal and social issues and served on the Labor HHS Appropriations Subcommittee, working for accountability on HHS and CDC policy and budgeting. Stated Trump on his Truth Social. Dave also served in a leading role in the government oversight and reform committee hearings, addressing issues within the HHS and CDC. Dave has successfully worked with the CDC to enact bans on patents for human embryos. Okay. Well then, why would anybody want to have a patent on human embryos? That just sounds creepy. Weldon is a stringently anti-abortion activist who, when he served in Congress, was involved in legislation to legally protect anti-abortion doctors and restrict the way doctors can perform procedures. He's also well known for his role in Terry Schiavo's controversy, where, after a Florida woman suffered brain death, Congress attempted to intervene against her husband's right to terminate life support. Well, she had brain damage, but, yeah, she didn't. I don't remember her having any brain death. She had had something that happened to her. I think she had a stroke or something. And, she kind of looked like she was kind of bent up, looking kind of weird, like Stephen Hawking, and couldn't speak. She was like, oh, yeah. She had a hard time speaking, but from a head injury. But I don't recall there being a brain death situation. So that's kind of odd. And there was always talk that the husband was wanting to hurry up and terminate her life support because he had a little side piece he was trying to get with. But that was back in the 90s. Anyway, Weldon in particular used his credentials as a doctor to dispute Schiavo's diagnosis. Oh, okay, so he actually tried to save her. That's cool. All right. The CDC played a critically important role in trying to maintain public safety at the height of COVID. I'm not supposed to say that on YouTube. The pandemic, and is year to year a frontline agency monitoring disease now, an outbreak and potential pandemics as they develop. This comes after Trump announced several appointees to the key health positions, including a Fox regular to serve as Surgeon General, and most controversially, Robert Kennedy to lead the Health Department and Human Services. So, okay. So he was actually trying to save Terry Schiavo. Well, that's all right. That's kind of cool. All right, let's see. Anyone over here? Oop. I missed some stuff here. Those two bent their knee way too fast. Oh, yeah, they folded like a cheap lawn chair. I'm not fucking joking. It was funny. They talked a lot of shit. They should have stood by their shit. But then again, they probably shouldn't have, killed an intern. So, if you're going to talk shit, make sure you ain't got nothing in your closet. No, maybe they should leave the commanding officers. I like my CO. It could be a political, they don't believe in his ability to command anymore. Maybe he thought what was going on right now was wrong. They did something similar to Flynn before it really blew up. Before he was ever worked for Trump, he saw some shit that the government was wanting to go after Syria back in I think 2014 or something, I think. And he was like, no, we shouldn't do that. We should not fuck with these people. And they basically ostracized Flynn. And so they might have been doing the same to this guy. Leadership isn't easy in general, and we have a lot of bad leaders these days. Right? That's no joke. I hope Trump fixes the leadership and corruption. I hope he does, but I think he's going to trade one bad for another, is what I think. This blonde girl. All right, so instead of Matt Gaetz, he's hiring this blonde chick, and she's been known to support red flag gun confiscation laws. So it looks kind of like the swamp is winning. It's a little bit concerning. He only wants yes men to help him take over the country, right? Same way in fucking Israel, though. Like, we were talking about the attorney general folding as well for Netanyahu because she was about to lose her job. He knows nothing about the military and how to run it, right? Well, the last 3 or 4 probably didn't either because, I mean, Bush Jr. fucking was in the reserves or whatever it was, but, like, you know, was constantly caught with having a positive drug test. Let's see. Obama, although he wasn't in the military. So, yeah. Right. The last, like, 4 we've had were totally fucked. No sound here. Fixed. Oh, okay. You had me worried there for a second. Right? Anywho. Let me get back to this. All right. Now we got done with this one. Now, I want to talk to y'all about some propaganda. Now, propaganda isn't always a lie. Sometimes it's just a combination of things to make things look a certain way. Anyway, so I have been theorizing for a while that one of the reasons they have been practically carpet bombing Gaza, but also going after the West Bank, which is like the West. All right, Jerusalem is like on the border of the West Bank. And they were hitting those up last year, even though there was no talk of Hamas being in the West Bank at all. But they were tearing that up. And I think it's because they were looking for something, or somethings, plural, like, I don't know, artifacts. Because I think they're wanting to rewrite the history books in a slightly different way, or leave out other stuff. So, let's see, a 3,300-year-old cave frozen in time from the reign of Ramses II uncovered in Israel. And there's a few of these. I have a few examples up here to show y'all. An extraordinary archaeological discovery has been made in Israel. A 3,300-year-old cave sealed since the reign of Ramses II has been unearthed near Tel Aviv. This remarkable find, dating back to the late Bronze Age, offers a glimpse into the ancient burial practices and long-lost artifacts. So, a stunning discovery at Palham Beach. And so, it's like, all right, the cave was uncovered by chance when construction workers operating at the Palham Beach National Park accidentally discovered its roof. So, I want to look this up real quick to see where this is. There you go. It's a little ways from Gaza. And here is, like, the Jerusalem area. I had seen something earlier, and I was wanting to get a look at it again. Actually. So I decided to do this. Is this where it is? Let's see. There was some interesting factoid I was trying to find about it. It was telling me where it got its name from. Apparently the news reported the name incorrectly. Okay. So Palkham was established in 1949 by former members of the Palmach Underground Organization. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So apparently that particular park is named after a terrorist organization, an Israeli terrorist organization back in the late 1940s. So I thought that was an interesting way they commemorate their terrorists. So I just wanted to share that for a second. Anyway, So let's see. Uh, Archaeologists quickly descended into the cavern, finding it astonishingly well preserved. Inside, an array of ceramics and bronze artifacts lay undisturbed, apparently as though frozen in time. Experts suggest that these were burial goods meant to accompany the deceased into the afterlife, which is interesting to find in Israel. The discovery dates back to the era of when Ramses II, one of Egypt's most influential pharaohs, ruled an empire that spanned to modern-day Sudan and Syria, which, coincidentally, Israel has got their hands in both, the Sudan and Syria. So it's kind of interesting. I feel like this is one of those things where whether it's actually true they found it or they're lying, it's a way to say, hey, look, see, we've been here this whole time. Like, I'm pretty sure the Polish and the Germans have not been there this whole time. So this is like the biggest identity theft ever. But hold on. Let's see. So this is from 2 days ago. Archaeologists discovered natural treasures in Jerusalem Spring. I've been seeing a whole unusually high influx of these amazing archaeological discoveries in Israel recently. That seems to perfectly point out the narrative they want, as though nobody else lived there, because that's something they're not really covering. They're not really pointing out about other cultures or any evidence of other cultures living there. And we know that Arabs and Christians have been living in those areas for a fucking long time, the whole time. Archaeologists from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and that, like I said, Jerusalem's close to the West Bank where they've been tearing shit up. Discovery of 50 cave pearls, some found with ancient pottery and plaster fragments, offer new insight into the region's historical water system and environmental changes from the Iron Age to the Byzantine period. So, gold stash found in jug. Like I said, they just keep finding shit, and this is from like 2 days ago. Let me make this bigger so y'all can see it. Caption settings, make it big enough so everybody can see it. I thought it was funny. They said the coins were perfectly preserved and didn't even need to be cleaned to be identified. I have some pennies that I got from the bank in 2017. I cracked open the little paper tube and just dropped them in there, and they've got more tarnish than this. And I have it in a glass jar. So I find it hard to believe this part that it was so clean that it didn't even need any polishing or anything. I'm like, okay. Oh, let me mute it a little, just in case. Actually, as long as there's no talking, it should be fine. Archaeologists discovered hidden loot while surveying the site prior to the construction. Whatever. Inspector found a juglet. I never heard the word juglet. A juggalet, yes, but a juglet I have not. A clay vessel not much bigger than a coffee cup. Stupid ads. Oh. There we go. Oh, and they're saying it dates to the year 940 and 970. So I'm assuming if this is AD, then it's like 940 years after Jesus. And I feel like a lot of this is propaganda to strengthen their the case they say they have about, well, we deserve to be here because 3,000 years ago and 1,000 years ago and so forth. The area was not Israel. How convenient. I'll show you another one. This one I thought was super wild. This is from 2 days ago. 12,000-year-old pebble collection found in Israel may be early evidence of wheel-like tools, say archaeologists. So, if anyone ever has told the joke, "Boy, they're trying to reinvent the wheel," they're trying to say they invented it. Damn near. I feel like that's what's being hinted here. 12,000 years. They're going for broke on this one. See, 12,000-year-old pebble collection found in Israel may be early evidence of wheel-like tools, says archaeologists. Archaeologists have recently discovered what they believe to be the earliest evidence of wheel-like tools in Israel. I don't know if it tells us what area, because I feel like that's important. The finding is crucial because, if proven, these tools would have been the ancestors of rotational technology, one of the avenues that transformed the world completely from the early ages, Smithsonian Magazine reported. Because of the appearance, the unearthed tools were believed to be perforated pebbles, but closer examinations revealed the reality. The findings regarding the discovery have been published in the Journal of PLOS One, I guess. Archaeologists excavated the pebbles at a site known as the Nahal Gev, I guess. Let's see if we can find out where this is. It's in northern Israel. Out of curiosity, I'm wondering how close to Lebanon, where they've been bombing, it is. I'm curious. Let me go up. Oh, okay. Let's see. So there's Haifa. Haifa's been supposedly been getting hit. So where's? So there's Jerusalem. Okay. So it seems like there's a lot of lines, so it's really hard for me to. I guess. All right, so it's not far from Jordan, I guess. There we go. The artifacts were found to be around 12,000 years old and were donut-shaped in appearance. Now, I don't know what all was there, so I don't know how they can tell it's 12,000 years old. Only because, as far as I know of, rocks and pebbles generally can't be carbon dated. I think there was some issue about those being carbon dated accurately. Like, I'm not entirely sure, but according to the study, researchers examined around 100 holy limestone pebbles found at the site to understand their origins. The specimens weighed between, I don't think the weight of it matters. 1 gram to 34 grams. There we go. The team speculated regarding the pebbles' purpose. They toyed with the idea of them being beads, fishing weights, or spindle whorls. But the beads did not work because the pebbles should have been more light in that case. Fishing weights were rejected because there's no evidence of tools during that time. Well, this seems to be kind of new for this anyway. So, spindle whorls were considered because wheels as a technology were known to be 6,000 years old, and their origin remained unclear. So, next one. Let's refresh it. This is from 4 months ago. Archaeologists discovered 3,000-year-old structure mentioned in the Bible. Let's see. The moat around the 9-meter deep, 30 around. What the fuck is it doing? why it's jumping around like that. Not likely to have separated the upper city, which featured the temple and the palace, to the lower city. The researcher said that the moat apparently formed a barrier between the city of David and the Temple Mount and Ophel areas, which were vertical cliffs making impassable. So let's see. I don't even know where to look that up. But again, every time there seems to be an archaeological find, it just points to them being like, yeah, see, we were here. And I think that's so wild. They don't ever seem to acknowledge anything else. There has to be leftover artifacts of the Christians and the Muslims that lived in that area. Now, this shit's fucking insane. Rare bronze amulet depicting King Solomon unearthed in Turkey. All right. If you ever look this up, it's fucking nuts. Archaeologists unearthed a 1,600-year-old amulet in Turkey depicting King Solomon killing a demon. This amulet likely belonged to a cavalryman stationed in the ancient city of Hadrianopolis and is considered by researchers to be a unique piece. Yeah, if you look up King Solomon's amulet, you will shit. Because King Solomon's amulet, if I can remember correctly, is supposed to, I guess, been given to him by one of the archangels, and so he could control, like, creatures from the underground and make them build the Temple Mound, or the Temple of Solomon, or whatever the fuck it was. But it's nuts. Like, in Turkey, archaeologists discovered a rare amulet dating back to the 5th century, made of bronze, that showed King Solomon on horseback, spearing a demon. Solomon was the biblical king of Israel, the son of the successor of King David, who, according to biblical tradition, is renowned for his wisdom. As reported by Live Science, is the first artifact of its found in Anatolia, I guess, in Turkey, which comprised a large part of modern-day Turkey. So, actually, I should go back and see what area this is, just so we know where on the map this is, because I'm a bit curious. I really just don't like how it doesn't give me like the proper like borders so I can actually know where things are. All right, it's not far from Syria, I guess. Well, I mean, it's a little ways, but let's see. All right. All right. Yeah. So yeah, the fact that they supposedly found this amulet is supposed to, that according to the history, if this is what I thought, it's supposed to give you the power to control evil things. That's creepy as fuck. First off, like, why would an angel? The reverse side shows Azrael, Gabriel, Michael, and Israfel. I don't know. Maybe it's some weird version of Raphael. I don't know. Either way, though, yeah, some of this propaganda, I feel like it's wild. Because, again, I'm not saying there weren't people there, but they weren't the only ones there. And I think it's interesting that the only stuff seems to point out, it seems to fit the narrative, fits the Bible, and I'm assuming any other artifacts of Muslims that lived there, or whatever Muslims were before Islam was a thing, because there was I think a lot of people were this multi-deist, is that what it's called? We have multiple gods. There was a religion that Islam kind of sprung from. There was a multi-theistic, and so whatever the hell that was, I don't remember now. Like, no artifacts of them. What about artifacts of Christians that came before this? Like, I think it's interesting how it just points out stuff that would point toward the narrative and not anybody else. So, yeah. Israel cracks down on Palestinians who speak out against the war in Gaza. Because how dare you speak out about your neighborhood getting carpet bombed? Silly you. I feel like I'm glad I save a lot of these, So that way, when I hear Israel's the only democracy in the Middle East, I'd be like, I feel like that is incorrect. Censoring people, preventing protests, cracking down on the news, because apparently one of their Israel's publications called Haaretz is getting sanctioned by Netanyahu. They're getting their funding pulled. They're getting they're not, no sponsors, no nothing. So he's trying to put one of their publications out of business. So I don't know if I have that one up here. Do I have that one up here? I do not have that article up here. So let's see. Let's make this a little bigger so we can, let's see. I don't know if it has captions or not, but oh, he's a former member of the Knesset, which is like their Congress, I think, in Israel. Israel's and Palestinians for peace. And I picture this anytime someone tells me I'm anti-Semitic for being against the war in Gaza, but it's like a lot of the Jewish people there are too. They're also against it. So, unless they're anti-Semitic as well. Oh, I guess this is something we can look at real quick. ICC warrant from Netanyahu sparks global divide. UK, Ireland may arrest. Hungary defends Israel. I feel like they didn't make a whole thing out of that, like they kind of should have, because that sounds kind of. Let me make this bigger and where everybody can read it. I don't know why it's not. Is there nobody talking? Yeah, the captions should be on. I don't know why it's not working. That's kind of odd. Oh, it's just music. Ireland too confirmed that it would arrest Netanyahu if he arrives, asserting its support for the International Court's decision. Fucking ads, I swear to God. Who sent this? Oh, fucking Budapest, I guess. They're a bunch of pansies anyway. Like, Joe Biden calls it outrageous. Isn't he the guy who like showered with his underage daughter? I really don't give a fuck what Biden thinks of this. I doubt the UK will do it. They're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of bitches. So they're claiming the UK will always comply with its legal obligation, which is interesting because there is British soldiers over there with American soldiers doing some pretty bad shit right now. I think the UK is only pretending they would actually do something about it. I don't think they actually would. Ireland's Prime Minister Simon Harris confirmed that Netanyahu would be detained if he visits, emphasizing support for the international courts. He might, maybe.
Yeah, the material is cheap. I love the style of this.
Hold on, everybody. Frosty! Finally! Miss Frosty! I didn't know what. Okay, hold on. Apparently, I missed a shit ton of people. Holy fuck. Hold on. Damn it. Alright, so hello, DJ Ronnie. You just wanted to rhyme. I can understand that. Let's see. I'm in and restreaming you. Aw, thank you. Evening. Sorry I didn't hit the notification for this, but been hanging, talking with Miss Frosty a little bit this evening. Well, that's good. Yeah, I was sad because last couple of streams y'all had, and I said hi, nobody spoke to me, and I was like, what the hell did I do? Miss Frosty live streamed yesterday or the day before, and nobody spoke to me. Well, Mirror did, and Mikey did, but I was like, what the hey? But I'm so glad that you're here. I bet they stash discoveries for release when convenient. Also that, yes. But a lot of those areas where they're finding those artifacts just happen to be areas that have been getting bombed and torn up, or near areas. So I figured a lot of it might be in places to help them dig and look for things. But also, killing people. Let's see. It's doable. Let's see. A new dating method since the 90s. Maybe. But I do remember when the long-standing limitations when I was in 8th grade. And the fact that you were in 8th grade in 1999 makes me feel fucking old. Jesus. Well, actually, I don't know. That's not bad. I mean, 1999, I was 17 or 18. Depending on what time of the year. Let's see. I'm back. Glad to hear it. That 12,000-year-old predates Judea and Judaism. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But they'll still try to, be like, hey, look, this area. Well, because that part of where they found it is now considered Israel, even though it wasn't a long time ago. But now it is. And so they'll be like, see, our land has this and this. It's just part of the propaganda. I mean, I don't doubt they find things there, but they like to exclude the fact that they don't, no Christian artifacts, no Muslim artifacts. Hello, Miss Frosty. I've been sad that y'all hadn't come by. I hadn't seen y'all in a few days, and I thought y'all were mad at me, and I'm like, I didn't even do nothing. It's the Levant, some of the oldest civilization on Earth. They're definitely going to find historical evidence. Yeah, I don't doubt they found it, or found stuff similar. But, some of them just like, they never mentioned it really belonging to any other culture. I mean, 12,000 years ago, yeah, they're just mentioning they found it in Israel. They're not really mentioning anything else with it. So, meow meow, Curtis. Oh, indeed. Meow meow. Let's see. Israel has a history of lying. Oh, yeah. And the area is Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. Is part of the greater Israel project. Yes, and I think that's one of the reasons they're doing this. Because if they go, hey, look, we found these coins with Hebrew writing over here in Syria. This proves that this should be ours too. You know what I mean? I feel like that's basically what they're doing with this. Let's see. U.S. is still Israel. Yeah, unfortunately so. It is shameful. It's insane. Nuturi Karta channel. I suppose it's against Zionism. Israel is just anti-Semitic Jewish rabbi. Okay. Yeah. You were in 8th grade, 1985. Finally, I feel a little bit better. Finally, somebody who was in 8th grade, before I was. Everybody else trying to make me feel old and shit. I'll talk about, like 9/11 or something. Raquel will be like, oh, yeah, I was in 8th grade. I'm like, thanks a lot, kid. You made me feel fucking old. Let's see. I actually went back after seeing the comments and did say your name, but maybe it was too low. Sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad. Because I was sad because I was sitting here thinking, if it weren't for the fact that Mirror and Mikey acknowledged me, I was going to think that maybe YouTube was censoring me because I was like, what's happened? They are screwing with history. Hello from Oklahoma. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Yeah, because they tell you that the winners write the history books. And especially because nothing has a hold on this planet like Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. And if you are in a position where you can twist the facts or omit certain details, and you can control the narratives to some degree of all three of those religions, that's something money could never buy. That is probably one of the most ultimate powers. Sorry, Mario, there's been a lot going on, right? I don't think either is meant to. Okay, well, I'm glad because I was afraid that I was getting the cold shoulder, like I had done something, and I was like, I wasn't in this. I was thinking I was getting like a guilt by association because I knew Mikey, and I'm like, yeah, but I didn't tell him to do any of this. The channel that I posted is, Jews and rabbis, they are very much against Zionism. Nice. I wonder if people call them anti-Semitic too. I think it's the first time you've been in my chat. I don't usually get notifications, strangely enough. That was one of the only times I remember ever getting a notification for you being live. YouTube's an asshole. We all know that. Oh, I feel so much better now. I'm glad because I was sitting here like, damn, I was going to wait till y'all had another live stream and then come say hi again and see if that happened or not to try to figure it out. They would try. They would try to say that. I mean, realize that they're saying that if I support the Muslims in this situation, that's anti-Semitic, even though Muslims are a Semitic people. So, I mean, they call anything they don't like anti-Semitic. They do call it, or the self-hating. Yeah, I was like, yeah. Usually, self-hating people usually just do bad things to other people. These supposed self-hating Jews are actually wanting there not to be war and not to be hurting people. So that sounds like love, not hate to me. But whatever, right? We're just silly, I guess. Yeah. Next article. Trump will crush. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's so fucking stupid. This shit is being said by Lindsey Graham, by the way. At least the story's about him. This is a day old. Trump will, quote, crush the UK is Starmer helps arrest Netanyahu after ICC issues absurd, quotes, warrant. A senior ally of the incoming Donald Trump has warned that the United States will crush Britain's economy, which is already fucked, mind you, if Sir Keir Starmer helps arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu following an International Crime Court's arrest warrant. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who's a fucking idiot, issued a stark warning to Starmer, claiming that the nations will follow the ICC. The nations that do follow the ICC ruling would face severe economic consequences. I think that's wild. It goes. Yeah, I don't want to hear most Americans going, "Oh, you know, we got freedom and we have democracy, and Israel's the only democracy in the Middle East." What the fuck ever. Yeah. So Lindsey Graham needs to be put in a fucking home. I hate this fucking guy so fucking much. Like they were interviewing him about the hurricane that hit North Carolina, and like immediately the first thing he starts doing is pandering to Israel. Like that has literally nothing to do with the hurricane. I don't remember how he segued it, but it was stuff that, like, I guess they were talking about helping the people in North Carolina. Somehow he segued it to, but remember, no matter what, we still have to support Israel and this and that and the other. And it was such a fucking weird segue. I was like, Jesus Christ. Fucking hate this guy so much. And now he's threatening severe economic consequences, or saying that Trump will do that if anyone follows it. First off, Britain already has an economic crisis. They're overrun. Their housing crisis is fucking maddening. One of the idiots in charge of there has gotten to where now they're going after farmers. They're like, oh, they have too much land, and now we need to start taxing them hard or something. It's insane. It's so insane. Graham told Fox News, if you're going to help the ICC as a nation enforce the arrest warrant against Bibi, he's on nickname terms with him, and Gallant, I will put sanctions on you as a nation. To any ally, Canada, Britain, Germany, France, if you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you. Jesus. God, I hate him so much. He looks like a televangelist that touches children. That's what he fucking looks like. He does. I'm sorry, he does. The ICC issued arrest warrants for Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Gallant on Thursday, citing reasonable grounds to believe the pair have committed war crimes. Only in every single fucking video we've seen over there, but whatever. The charges have included the starvation as a method of warfare and crimes against humanity, including murder, persecution, and other inhumane acts. Yeah, because there was one guy, well, actually there was many, but one in particular, I think 2 weeks ago, I think he was a teacher, and he was he was being held prisoner by the Israelis, and they raped him to death. So, yeah. I mean, not Netanyahu and Gallant, I mean, not them physically, but their troops did. Israel's campaign against Gaza has resulted in over 44,000 deaths. It's a lot higher than that. It is. It's a lot fucking higher than that. Human Rights Watch has reported that children in Gaza have been dying from starvation-related complications, which they describe as Israel using starvation as a weapon. The conflict began... Oh, yeah, they always do this. I think they copy and paste this part. Every article, they just said, and the conflict started with 1,200 people, this and that. Israel killed over 1,200 people in the first week after October 7th. They more than got their lick back. Way more. But yeah, Lindsey Graham is such a piece of shit. I really want someone to take one for the team and just get this guy. Fucking T-bone him in his car. I don't care. This guy is such a piece of shit. Or better yet, if he's got kiddie stuff on his computer, get him seen by everybody and have him thrown in jail. I don't care. But this guy needs to be gone. I fucking hate him. House passes a bill that would give Trump administration broad powers to kill nonprofits. Well, fuck. Let's get the captions all loaded up for this. Because, I don't want copyright hit, so I'm not playing the sound, but you can read it. And I think it's so wild that Republicans are doing this because a couple of years ago, Republicans were complaining that patriots were being labeled as terrorists and all kinds of shit. So the fact that they're on board with this is fucking amazing because here's a slippery slope. There are people who consider the January 6ers to be terrorists. There are people who considered like all kinds of like extreme Republican groups to be borderline terrorist. So if you give this power to somebody when it's in someone else's hands, what do you think's going to happen? Same fucking shit. And then they're going to complain. And I keep trying to remind both parties that whatever that you sign off on today can be used against you tomorrow. But nobody ever thinks it can. What the fuck? Hold on. See what notifications I'm getting. Oh, okay. Exactly. It can be very devastating for rights groups. Because all they can do is just consider them a terrorist. I mean, right now, they have been trying to legislate something that anybody who supports Palestine, either directly or indirectly, which, I mean, could even be like me going out there with a Palestinian flag and speaking in favor of peace, is considered indirectly part of the Hamas network, which is the silliest fucking thing, because if I was part of a network, I would expect to get paid, but I'm a broke-ass bitch. So ain't nobody paying me. But, you know, they might start coming after people like me. Which I hope I'm live streaming when they do it, because I will want it for everybody to see. I have no intention of going quietly. Oh, for fuck's sake, these ads are they're just off the chain tonight. Good Lord. Out of pocket. Yeah, so this is basically started with being cracking down on got a little buffer in there, on pro-Palestinian. But again, they always start laws with the group that is the least desired or the least liked. And then they just know that once they have that foot in the door, they can expand to other groups too. I really have a hard time taking laws in this country seriously when they have things like Operation Vigilant Eagle or whatever the fuck it is they have that is supposed to label veterans, former veterans, or I guess veterans are former service members, of being potential terrorists and homegrown terrorists and this and that. When this is a country who targets its own people, how am I supposed to even be on board with something like this? Because it doesn't take much to be considered a terrorist. It really doesn't. Oh, they don't even have to show evidence. See that? You don't necessarily have to show evidence to be able to basically strip somebody of their status, their tax status. And here's another issue with that. They said that you would have, if you had a nonprofit status and they thought you were helping terrorism, you you yourself would have 90 days to have to prove that you weren't. Now, I don't remember where the rule, which rule it is, but basically here in America, the burden of proof is supposed to be on the state if you are in trouble. You should, I mean, they should have to prove their case against you, not strip you of your status, and then you have to prove they're wrong. I mean, there's something civil they do with something similarly they do with civil asset forfeiture. As opposed to criminal asset forfeiture, where if you're convicted of a crime, they take your shit that was involved in it. With civil asset forfeiture, they get to steal your shit, and then you have to fight and plead and prove that you should not have had that done to you. That's not the way it's supposed to work, and this is that. And civil asset forfeiture is basically similar to what they're trying to do here: strip you of your tax status or whatever, and you have to prove that you're not supporting terrorism. It's ridiculous. The burden of proof should always be on the state, not the person. I think some of the captions are a little off. And he's got a point. So even if you were able to prove it, that you weren't supporting terrorism, you can still find yourself with crippling legal fees and everything else, which if you're a nonprofit, you might not really have a whole bunch of money for that anyway. And your reputation could be damaged by this accusation. And that is probably what they want. Even if they can't actually get away with crippling your status as a nonprofit, they would still be able to cripple your reputation and still make you, basically scar you from it. Y'all read that part there. The House just blessed Trump's authoritarian playbook by passing nonprofit killer bill. In Nicaragua, a similar bill had a direct effect not only on free speech, which if you run a nonprofit, hell, if you even have an employee at the nonprofit that says the things that I say, you might find yourself in trouble. Who fucking knows? It's not free speech if you're going to be punished for it. And I've actually heard of a lot of that silliness from fucking conservatives that I've had talks with before. And they said, well, it's freedom of speech. It's not freedom from consequence. And I'm like, actually, yes. That's the whole point of freedom of speech, is to not be punished for what you say. That's literally the point of freedom of speech. And it's so weird. I mean, it's not the same as yelling fire in a crowded theater, but they're treated as such. I mean, a lot of those environmental groups that are talking about right here, a lot of them do act kind of stupid. But again, they're making it to where, you and I go, well, yeah, that group, they do stupid shit. Yeah, it's okay to target them as a terrorist. But that's what they want you to say, because they want you to be okay with setting that precedent. And once that precedent is set, it makes it worse. I never thought I'd be sitting here cheering for the Democrat side, but since this particular individual is a Democrat, actually, I even think they're a bit split on this, because you've got some Democrats that support the silencing pro-Palestinian stuff and some that don't. But the fact that they put me in a situation where I do find myself supporting a Democrat on something, it's just like, it tells you how far off the Republicans have really gotten. All right, our final article: Trump team barred from agencies amid legal standoff. Oh boy, let me refresh this. So this was a day ago. Advisors to Robert F. Kennedy reached out to the Health and Human Services Department many times after Donald Trump tapped him to lead the massive agency, hoping to jumpstart coordination before his takeover in late January. They were rebuffed. Kennedy's inability to communicate with the agency he soon may manage, confirmed by an administration official with knowledge of the episodes, granted anonymity to describe the internal deliberations, is just one consequence of the president-elect's continued foot-dragging on signing the standard trio of ethics and transparency agreement with the federal government, something his team pledged to do shortly after election. So apparently, I'm a little concerned. Apparently, it sounds like Trump has some ethics agreements and stuff and transparency agreements that he's supposed to sign and has not. That should be a huge red flag. And I can't be blamed for this because I wanted Jill Stein. So the Trump transition unprecedented delay in signing the agreements has so far prevented the incoming administration from having any formal contact with federal agencies, including sending in groups of policy advisors known as landing teams. It also means that they can't access cybersecurity support or secure email servers for transition-related work, or request FBI background checks for their nominees. Ooh, that's not good. We probably do want some of those. Both the Trump transition and the White House confirmed that to Politico that negotiations on agreements are still underway. But until the standoff is resolved, Trump's cabinet nominees will gain no more insight than the general public into the workings of the departments they're supposed to run. Watchdog groups, ethics experts, and former government officials say the delay in coordination with federal agencies, which typically begin in mid-November, means the new administration won't be up to speed on the state of the career force and the budget, and what headaches may await them when Trump takes the oath of office January 20th. The failure thus far to sign the memorandums has also troubled Biden's officials, who are particularly concerned about the potential national security implications. If they're one to fucking talk. Jeez. Without the agreement in place, Trump's team can't access any non-public government data, depriving it of the full view of efforts the White House and the federal agencies are taking to safeguard against a range of threats. That includes classified elements of the administration's involvement in conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine, and the details of high-level conversations with allies. The stalemate has also left Trump transition largely in the dark on threats closer to home that could quickly mushroom into a crisis like the continued spread of the avian flu. Members of Congress in both parties are alarmed, with the 3 Senate Democrats suggesting to Politico that the lack of FBI background checks could prevent Trump's nominees from securing confirmation. According to revelations this week about the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Matt Gaetz, who decided to withdraw from consideration to be Attorney General on Thursday after a series of leaks about investigations into alleged sexual encounters with underage women. Underage girls. Let's specify that. If they're underage, they're not a woman, they're a girl. Anyway, if there is a lack of proper investigation into nominees, I don't think the Armed Senate Service Committee would allow nomination to move forward, said Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. One Republican close to the transition suspected Trump officials are not in any rush to sign an agreement because they believe the operation is running smoothly from Mar-a-Lago without federal assistance. Many on the right are urging Trump's team to buck the rules by continuing to use private funds to pay for transition staff and conducting their own personal vetting as they prepare to take over the federal government. That's concerning. So they're going to investigate each other. Yeah, that works out well. They don't need the hassle, argued one Republican familiar with the Trump's 2016 transition and the current one, granted anonymity to speak about private deliberations without public funding. They would be left to organize the transition the way they want, instead of taking the public money, which opens them up to GSA and quasi-political organizations whose sole mission will probably be to derail them. Well, I feel like if you're not doing anything wrong, then you won't be getting derailed. Right. So they're going to investigate and vet themselves, but they don't want anyone else to. That doesn't sound suspicious or anything. Yeah, okay. And they're saying they don't want what was it? They don't need the hassle. Really? This sounds like they're doing extra steps, doing it their way. So it sounds like it's actually more of a hassle to do it what they're doing now. So even as ethics experts worry that Trump's transition hasn't yet begun, the agency review work needed to be ready to govern. They warned against starting that work before signing the 3 memorandums of understanding with the General Service Administration, the White House, and the Justice Department. Well, they're all fucking corrupt anyway, but There is no basis for a president-elect team to enter federal agencies and have discussions without signing an MOU, says Valerie Smith, the director of the Center for Presidential Transition, that at the nonpartisan nonprofit Partnership for Public Service, which assists all parties with transition planning. It's kind of hard to find someone who's not biased or anything, so it's a little odd. I don't really trust anybody who claims they're not biased. The main thing that is said, it says, is that members of the transition team will be bound by an ethics agreement that ensures that they are using information appropriately, and they will limit the use of lobbyists and foreign agents, and that individuals who leave the transition and go back to the private sector won't use this information for personal gain. First off, I didn't know there was supposedly a limit on the lobbyists and foreign agents you could use, because nobody has acted like there's a limit. Like why would you not sign that? Huh? Why would you not? I know why you wouldn't sign that. Dee Dee is calling me. Hold on. My baby is calling me. What's up, kitten? Do what? I got that like a couple of weeks ago. You just bought steak? That does sound good. That does sound kind of good. I don't blame you. Oh, no. Oh, 50? Oof, that's rough. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you when you get home. I'm still doing my live stream. I'm on my last article. It's all right. I love you. Mwah. I didn't know if it was important. She was telling me how much the food at the store is that she just paid for. She's like, "Can you guess how much this was?" And I'm like, 50? She was like 44, but yeah. I'm like, oof. So I didn't want to ignore my baby in case she needed me, but I was like, yeah, I can talk to you when you get home. Several agencies, including the Pentagon and State Department, confirmed to Politico that they've received no formal outreach to date from the Trump transition, from the landing teams or other officials. The Justice Department, meanwhile, offered just days after the election to start briefing the Trump team on ongoing operations and processing security clearances for his incoming officials, but cannot do do so until Trump transition team signs the agreement. Without the DOJ agreement, the FBI also cannot conduct background checks into Trump's cabinet picks, which have already emerged as potential hurdles to the confirmation. Soon to be Senate Majority Leader John Thune, I keep trying to say it with an R, Thune, I guess, said Thursday that the absence of this federal scrutiny, he and his fellow lawmakers who will be voting on the slate of the officials will have to be very thorough in vetting these nominations and ensure that the correct background information is available. Republican Senator Roger Wicker was even more direct, saying yes when asked if the president-elect's team should be allowing the FBI to conduct background checks of nominees. We need to do it by the numbers. Yeah, the fact that they're trying to avoid background checks is just super fucking bizarre to me and concerning. Trump spokesman Brian Hughes said that his team's lawyers continue to constructively engage with the Biden-Harris administration lawyers regarding all agreements contemplated by the Presidential Transition Act, but he declined to explain the reasons for the holdup, which provisions have yet to be resolved or when they're expected to reach an accord. Yeah, I'm kind of concerned by that because I'm not sure how bad these people are that they're trying to avoid having the FBI do background checks and they don't want to sign any agreements. Like, it's not like those agreements do any good anyway. All these officials go run around doing whatever the hell they want. Nobody stops them. So I don't know why they're holding off, like, signing these agreements. It's so weird. But now this is from the other day. I had already bitched about her, but this was when they were threatening to open Matt Gaetz's ethics committee reports. And it's such a wild thing for her to say right here. For my Republican colleagues in the House and Senate, if we are going to release ethics report and rip apart our own that Trump has appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to see. Yes, all the ethics report and claims, including the one I filed. I really want to know about that one. All your sexual harassment and assault claims that were secretly settled paying off victims with taxpayer money. The entire Jeffrey Epstein list. The fact that she's talking about putting all their shit out there. And then the fact that Jeffrey Epstein's files, tapes, recordings, and interviews are listed in this. But not just those. There's more. Epstein isn't the only asset. What do you mean isn't? Wasn't is a past tense, implying the man is dead. So what's this isn't part? Because isn't is a current thing. Wasn't is a past tense thing. So Epstein would be a wasn't, not an isn't. Wouldn't he be? I'm concerned by that little bit of wording right there. Wasn't the only asset. What asset? Asset implies someone is of purpose or of use to you. So Epstein isn't the only asset? I feel like we need to look at that. Really dive into that. I'm concerned by that wording. If we're going to dance, let's all dance in the sunlight. I'll make sure we do. So to me, that tells me that Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene over here has access to Epstein's tapes, files, recordings, witness interviews. And she's done what? Like, people are like, you're asking rhinos to stop being rhinos. Good luck. Like, a lot of these people are not reading between the lines here. Because if she's talking about, I'll make sure we do, exposing it, that means that she has access to this shit here. And she hasn't released that information to the public? Probably because it's her fucking friends who are on those lists. That's probably why. Anyway, let's see. How far back up do I go? Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah, UK is having a whole bunch of issues right now. I did see some sort of TikTok video showing that there was a lot of the UK is underwater, well, England specifically, and they're having there was also talking in some other areas that were having quite a bit of snow, which maybe for this time of year isn't weird, but that flooding was pretty fucking weird. I'm wondering, because I've noticed that some of the places who've been getting flooding the last few months were places, a lot of them were places that were not agreeing with Israel. So I wonder if they have a weather modification thing. I do wonder. Because any place that seems to like not agree with Israel recently has either been getting extreme weather or suddenly had a lot of political disruption in the streets. Very suspicious. Yeah, let the U.S. sanction Canada and not get any more oil and gas, electricity, wood, grain, etc. from Canada. I didn't know we got electricity from y'all. Well, maybe the northern states. I don't know. Gas. Didn't know we got gas from y'all. I mean, we might. I'm just saying I didn't know. It probably sounded a little bit like that. Huh. And wood. Well, the price of wood's already high anyway. And I'm supporting fix my carport. Yeah. Hello, a friend told me to check you out. Oh, well, I'm so glad that they did, and I'm glad to have you here. I was at the border blockade in 2022, Freedom Convoy, and support Palestine for years prior to that. I get called a terrorist and a terrorist supporter. Right? Exactly. And you know what? And actually, this is a fantastic example of the Freedom Convoy, the truckers protesting. They were the Canadian government was trying to treat them as terrorists too. So it doesn't take much for someone to be considered a terrorist. You just have to be against the status quo. You just have to be like, hey, I'm very much against what the government's doing. And boom, suddenly you're labeled. So that's why I think what they're doing with the tax exempt thing, I think is completely wrong. They're so willing to throw the terrorist label on anybody that doesn't agree with them that I feel like it would get thrown around way too much. The media and propagandists keep labeling it pro-Hamas. I know, right? I'm excited when I see just pro-Palestinian protests. But no, they want to say pro-Hamas. That's so wild. That'd be like me, I don't know, it's like if I support America, someone says, well, that means you support Democrats. No, just because I support a country doesn't mean I support a political party. You know? It's absolute silliness. Right, exactly. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? I mean, obviously that's only for rich people or well-connected people. And we all know that, but we're supposed to at least kind of, once in a while, they're supposed to at least pretend that's not the truth. You know what I mean? I never care what a person identifies as. Left, right, Muslim, Christian. Right, exactly. Exactly. It's ideologies. It's ideologies I have issues with. Anybody can be an asshole. Assholes come from all walks of life. And there's plenty of those to hate. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Amen, brother. Amen. Mm-hmm. The group think tribalism, divisional lines all over the completely out of hand. I believe George Carlin once said something like that. Yeah, George Carlin was super smart. I mean, he was a little rough around the edges, but he told no lies. I don't underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. Right? Tribalism, groupthink, mob mentality, going with the current thing can lead to not good things and becoming a Nazi. Oh, God. I didn't realize what you were trying to spell on there, so I ended up saying it out loud. Electricity from British Columbia gets sent off to California. Oil and gas gets sent to the U.S. for refinery. Natural gas from Alberta goes to Washington State and fuels weapons manufacturing. Oh, shit. Ooh. I must admit, I never thought about Saskatchewan having uranium. I mean, I guess there's no reason to rule it out. It's not something I would have pictured. I always pictured uranium coming from, like, I don't know, Middle Eastern places, I guess. I don't know. Without Canada, the U.S. would surely be screwed. Well, yeah, but that idiot, Lindsey Graham, probably doesn't realize that. Like, that guy is so fucking out of touch. Like, he probably has no clue what we get from Canada. Hell, I didn't know. But also, it's not my job to sanction people. If I had that job of being able to sanction people, I would read up more on it. And I wouldn't be saying the stupid shit he fucking says. Fucking hate that guy so much. Jesus Christ. Anyways. Do we have anything else to talk about real quick? They're saying that Israel and Hezbollah are moving closer to a ceasefire deal. I don't know. It depends on how much land they're hoping to steal and what artifacts they're looking for. Because I really feel like they're looking for something. A while back, I found a book online. It's an antique book they were selling. I wish I had saved which book it was, because it was written 15 something or other, and this guy said that he was in a room with somebody and he saw the Holy Ark. And I'm like, ooh, I know what that means. So judging by what little I could read on the page, because it was showing like the inside, showing what condition the pages were, and that happened to be on one of the pages, and it was Latin, so I had to use my little translator thing, and yeah, I wish I had saved that book. It was more than I could afford. I think it was like $5,000. So, but it would have been cool to like save the page so I could at least show y'all to that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the Ark is in Israel, or some part of Israel that may not be Israel at the moment. And they're probably looking for it if they don't have it, and they're maybe trying to find something that goes with it. I don't know. But they're tearing up the place like they mean business. So, let's see. Oh, yeah. Under Trump, there was a military operation in Niger, Africa. Here is the fourth largest exporter of uranium in the world. Oof. Hezbollah struck Israel today. Apparently, it said no deal, as I understand it. Well, damn it. Yeah, because they talk about ceasefire, but then like Israel just keeps shooting at people. It's kind of wild. Oh, more archaeology stuff. I low-key do want to kind of see what it says. Hold on. Oh, they found this actually in Egypt. Okay. Alright. Honestly, I was waiting to see if they found something else in Israel again, because that seems to be a common ceasefire with Hezbollah. What Israel's 60-day pause entails. 5 hours ago, the impending ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon is wild, because you see here it says ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon. But let's see. Okay, I don't see the article now, but y'all saw it a minute ago. It said it is a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah. So they're wanting to make you think that Hezbollah and Lebanon are interchangeable, and it is not.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Can I throw this away or is it good?
Oh, yeah, go ahead and throw it away, sweetie. I meant to do it earlier, I just forgot.
Okay.
Let's see. So you always got to look for that, because here this sounds legit. It's a ceasefire deal between Lebanon and Israel. But like I said, other articles will say a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah. Hezbollah does not represent the entire Lebanon, and Lebanon does not necessarily represent all of Hezbollah. So, you always got to look out for the wording. Sometimes it's not what they say; it's what they don't say. You know what I mean? Damn, just power watching that pan. It's not the end of the war, but it will be evaluated based on the reality on the ground, a diplomatic official said on Monday. The deal's timing was due to a number of factors, the official said. The first one was concerning over a unilateral decision in the UN National Security Council that would force Israel to cease its actions in Lebanon. Well, I fucking hope so. Shit. The second was it's enabled Israel to reevaluate the situation in 2 months, right after the new administration takes over. Uh-oh. The third is that deal may apply pressure on Hamas, as it has left Hamas alone in its conflict with Israel. Wait, what? The third deal may apply pressure on Hamas, as it left Hamas alone in its conflict with Israel. This could be a breakthrough negotiation over the deal to bring back Israeli hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza, which they have been killing. Because a lot of the times when you find out Israeli hostage has been killed, it was because of an Israeli airstrike. They're just blowing up everything. They don't care who they get. It's insane. Smoke billows over Beirut's southern suburb after an Israeli strike amid the ongoing hostilities between Hezbollah and Israeli forces, as seen from Babada, Lebanon, November 24th. Yeah, this is so fucked up. And these are some raggedy ass buildings. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I mean, it's like, okay, so apparently it's not going to let the picture be any bigger for y'all. Sorry. Oh, okay, a little bit. Yeah, but these are like poor, dilapidated buildings with a lot of poor people living in them, most likely. And they're just blowing that shit up. Another factor is that the 60-day truce will enable the IDF to regroup and prepare itself for further fighting if necessary. Bet you they will do it too. The truce includes a side document that enables Israel to attack any Hezbollah operative who ventures south of the Litany River, which, as well as attack any attempts by Hezbollah to rearm itself. I want to see where this river's at. I'm actually curious. Let's see. All right, let's move that out of the way. All right, so this is, I guess this is the border of Israel right here. Maybe? Is it? Is that what that is? Yeah, it looks like it because here's Haifa here. So way up here. So they're saying that Hezbollah, if they come down past this area, I guess they're going to attack. I really feel like it is, unless someone's coming into your border, it's not your fucking business where somebody else is inside of another border. But the river's kind of funky. So what they say again? Hold on. They don't want them to, the operators who venture south of the Litany River. Okay. Oh, there we go. But the river does this. So, yeah, the Litany River, is all the way up here and comes all the way down to the border of Israel. So they say they don't want them to be south of the Litany. Like, which part of the Litany? Well, I guess it starts up here. So they're saying they don't want them past here, I guess? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I guess. Maybe this is where they're saying not to go south of. That's over half the country. I think it's wild that Israel's telling someone else, drawing lines in the sand in someone else's country. That's wild. I mean, it shouldn't be surprising, but it is wild. Anyway, all right. I thought they did. I thought they had. I thought they did in 1967. I mean, they've expanded since 1967, but I think there was official borders. I thought back in 1967. So I think it was part of the Hamas deals. They said they wanted them to go back to the 1967 borders. They would accept that, and Israel was like, "Fuck no." So I do not know. Anywho, it has been awesome having y'all here. Let's see. Let's go up. So lots of hugs to Lady Miss and to Daniel and to Sashi and to Curtis YZ and to DJ Ronnie and to Canada RV and of course Frosty Broccoli and Miss Frosty and Curtis Selby. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Nope, I think that is everybody. Oh. Likely they have intentions of expanding and taking over more and more. Oh, absolutely they are. And that's why I call them a cancer. Right? And they are. Now, the cancer is less destructive. Thank you, Lady Miss. And hugs to everybody. Let's get our little song and play us out.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. 'Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, hey, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery.